Welcome back to the deep dive. Sometimes you need to get a handle on complex topics fast.
Exactly.
Today, we're tackling money laundering. We've looked at the sources, and they really break down how this whole process works.
They do.
Our mission. Pull out the really key bits so you understand what money laundering actually is, and importantly, why it matters so much.
Right. And it's not just, a single action. It's more of a system, a process for making dirty money look clean, legitimate even.
Okay, so it's a process. Where does it start? How does the illegal cash, get into the system in the first place?
That first step, that's called placement. It's literally placing the illicit funds into the legitimate financial system.
How, though? How do they do that?
Well, think about large cash deposits at a bank, for instance, or maybe buying assets, art, jewelry, cars with cash. Another way is funneling it through businesses that handle a lot of cash anyway, like restaurants or maybe casinos. It helps blend the dirty money with legitimate earnings.
Okay, so just getting it in the door. But I imagine dropping off huge bags of cash would attract some attention.
Definitely. That's the riskiest part, actually. Banks have reporting requirements. So yeah, just dumping large sums is a red flag.
Right.
Which leads us directly to the second stage, layering.
Layering. Okay, so this is about hiding it better.
Exactly. This is where they try to obscure the source, to make the trail really hard to follow. It's all about creating distance between the money and its illegal origin.
How do they create that distance?
Through lots and lots of transactions. Think wire transfers, moving money between different accounts, often in different banks, sometimes even different countries.
Crossing borders.
Yes. And they might use show corporations, companies that exist only on paper to, pretend they're doing business with each other, moving funds back and forth.
Wow, okay. So it becomes this really complex web, almost impossible to unravel.
That's the goal, to make it incredibly difficult, time-consuming, and expensive for investigators to track where the money actually came from.
Got it. Placement first, then layering to hide the trail.
Yeah.
So what's the final step? Where does the clean money end up?
That final stage is integration. This is where the money re-enters the mainstream economy looking, well, totally legitimate.
So it's been washed clean, basically.
Pretty much. It might be used to invest in, say, real estate or stocks, or to fund a new, seemingly legitimate business venture, or even just buying luxury goods.
And at this point, it's much harder to detect, I assume.
Significantly harder. The money now appears to be a normal business profit or investment income. The link back to the original crime is, ideally for them, completely obscured.
It's quite a journey. The sources also mention some specific techniques they use along the way.
Yes, there are several common methods. One is called structuring, or sometimes smurfing.
Smurfing.
Yeah. It involves breaking up large amounts of cash into smaller deposits. Lots of small deposits under the amount that triggers automatic reporting by banks. Then you have things like trade-based money laundering. This is more sophisticated. It involves manipulating invoices in international trade.
Like faking the value of goods.
Exactly. Over-invoicing imports or under-invoicing exports to move value across borders hidden within legitimate trade transactions.
And technology. I saw cryptocurrency mentioned. Does that play a role?
It certainly can. Crypto offers, a degree of potential anonymity and makes cross-border transfers very fast, which can be attractive for launderers.
So it makes tracking harder.
It can complicate things, yes. Though it's important to remember most crypto use is legitimate, but its features can be exploited.
Okay, so this whole complex system exists. Why should the average person care? What are the real-world effects?
Well, the consequences are pretty significant. Economically, it can warp markets. Think about inflated real estate prices in some cities, or legitimate businesses being unable to compete with rivals funded by illicit cash. It can cause instability. And beyond the economy, there's the social cost. Money laundering is what allows criminal organizations to profit from things like drug trafficking, human smuggling, corruption, even terrorism.
Right. It fuels further crime.
Absolutely. It allows those operations to continue to expand. It really underpins a lot of harmful activity.
That's quite serious. So what's being done to fight it? Are there defenses?
Oh, yes. There are global standards and national laws. We have anti-money laundering AML regulations. These require banks and other institutions to monitor for suspicious activity and report it.
Like those deposit thresholds you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And there's also Know Your Customer, or KYC rules. Financial institutions have to verify the identity of their clients. It makes it harder for criminals to use the system anonymously.
It still happens. Sounds
Yikes.
like criminals are always adapting.
That's the core challenge, really.
Right.
Globalization makes moving money easier and technology keeps evolving. So the methods criminals use also keep evolving. They're always looking for new ways around the controls.
A constant battle then.
It really is. It requires ongoing effort, international cooperation, and constant adaptation from regulators and law enforcement.
So to wrap up, money laundering isn't simple. It's this multi-stage process, placement, layering, integration used to disguise illegal money.
Right. And it has real damaging effects on economies and societies by enabling serious crime.
And even with AML and KYC rules, it's a huge ongoing global challenge because the methods keep changing.
Precisely. Which leads to a final thought, maybe for you to consider.
Right.
With things like digital currencies becoming more common and finance getting ever more global and complex, how do you think money laundering tactics will evolve next? And what kind of new challenges will that create for actually stopping it?
That's definitely something to think about. How do you fight an enemy that's constantly changing shape in such a complex world?